Jim, good morning from New York.
I'm delighted to see you, Jack. Good morning.
Jim, I understand you just got back from Singapore. And again, you look healthy. No sign of coronavirus.
No, actually, it's been a while. I've been in Bermuda, New York, Moscow. I've been a few places since I was in Singapore, but I don't have it. I don't have it.
Excellent. I think that's kind of the topic. This is the topic that's on top of everybody's mind right now. You have extensive experience in Asia, in China, and the whole, through the whole region, or actually through the whole world. But what's kind of your take on this situation? How is this? How do you think this is going to affect the markets and the global economy?
Well, obviously, if you get it, it's not good. If you die, it's really not good. But very, very few people have died, and most of the people who have gotten it have recovered. It doesn't seem to, I mean, the people who are dying are mainly in their 70s or 80s, and they have something else wrong with them too. So that's having a toll. But it's a bit hysterical if you ask me. The numbers worldwide are less than 90,000 people who have it. Less than 3,000 have died. Every year, Jack, 40,000 people in America die from the flu.
Right.
Are you going to boycott McDonald's because 40,000 people die from the flu in America? I'm afraid it's hysterical now. There's certainly no reason not to be cautious, no reason not to be prudent. Of course, nobody wants to get it, but from what I can see looking around, there's more hysteria than reality.
Yeah.
If you get it, it's not hysteria, but otherwise, it's not so bad.
Yeah, there's definitely, a certain level of maybe panic, but I think the key thing that investors are concerned about is, these global supply chain disruptions. I mean, you have a lot of companies, warning on earnings now. You have from what the reports that I'm seeing, factories are shut down in China. It's affecting Korea now, Japan. What do you see that as? Could that push the world into a recession, or what's your take?
Now let's go to the next step. The virus itself, the epidemic itself, I just got through saying, doesn't seem to be nearly as bad. And that's partly because China took draconian measures. I don't think you could do it in the United States. Just close the whole city down, close the whole state down. I don't know what would happen if we tried something like that. But they did take such draconian measures that it's pretty much peaked in China anyway. I mean, unless they're lying to us, and I have no way of knowing. But from what I can see, the factories are starting back up again in China. So that seems to have peaked. Now, it is spreading to other countries, but there are not many people. If you look at the numbers in any country, the U.S. anyway, England, I think England has 10 cases or something like that. So there's no reason to get hysterical. But having said that, the economy is something different. The virus may have peaked, the number of people getting sick or dying, but obviously the economy is being seriously affected. You get on an airplane, if you get on an airplane, it's empty. Many flights get canceled.
That's a positive.
Airports are empty, hotels are empty. No problem getting a table at a restaurant these days, just about anything you want to do. People are not out and about, certainly not in Asia, and even in New York, they're less out and about than I thought they would be. So from that point of view, it is certainly affecting the economy, and it certainly may well push some people into hard times, maybe even bankruptcy. I'm sure you're going to see some bankruptcies in China, which is going to surprise a lot of people. It's going to surprise me, Jack, and I told you it's coming, because there are people in China who have debt now, and the country really just closed down.
Yeah, I think what is the it's funny. I actually before we got started, I was looking at one of your recent interviews, and I think this was in Korea, and you mentioned the word. What is it? The word Weiji.
It's a Mandarin, Chinese word is Weiji. In Japan, it's Kiki. All these countries have a word which means opportunity and disaster are the same thing. We don't have the word in English. We haven't been around as long as some of these Asian countries, but they all have. And it's interesting. Japan, Korea, China, it's all written exactly the same way, pronounced differently, but it means opportunity and disaster are the same thing. And they are, as you know.
Yeah. So you have, the planes aren't crowded. You can get a reservation. So that's the positive. So where do you see the opportunities right now? And you're a long-term player also.
Well, this morning I bought a Russian shipping company, for instance. Is most things in Asia are being decimated. If I weren't talking to you, I would probably be buying airlines in Asia right now. Travel companies are getting killed everywhere. So those are opportunities. I don't think many airlines are going to go bankrupt, maybe, but not many, and people are still going to fly. We're not going to take the bus. We're not going to take the train or the boat. Airlines are still going to come back, and eventually this will pass. And as I said, remember Wei Ji, disaster is opportunity.
And I think so. You're bullish on tourism and the tourism industry in Asia long term. Is that where you see kind of one of the biggest opportunities?
Yes, for decades, the Chinese basically couldn't travel for many reasons, but now the government encourages you to get a passport, makes it easy. They make it easy to get money to travel, to go out of the country. There are 1,400,000,000 of them, Jack, and they all want to see the world, and they want to see their own country. And not right now, people don't want to see China, but people will want to see China again. Likewise, Korea. Korea's never been on the world tourism map, but once the border comes down at the 38th parallel, everybody's going to want to go see what Korea is, what it was. So there are a lot of opportunities in Asian travel.
And sorry, now you've been talking about North Korea for a while. When do you see that actually happening? Do you see that as something in the near medium term, within 5 years?
Oh, I would think sooner than that, probably a year or two. China wants it, Russia wants it, North Korea wants it, South Korea wants it. I mean, the kid's going around making speeches saying he wants to do for North Korea what Deng Xiaoping did for China. Now, it's not reported in the U.S. because we get censored here. There's censorship in America, and in South Korea, but it's reported elsewhere. No, it's going to happen sooner, not later.
So the next couple of years, and of course, Donald Trump wants it. If he gets reelected, that would be one of his crowning achievements. If he can bring peace to the
yes,
Korean
it would certainly be good. It's actually coming from the Koreans, but he's going to take credit whether he deserves it or not. The kid and President Moon are the ones who really were doing this. The problem, speaking of him, is the American army doesn't want to leave. That's the real problem. Everybody else wants it. But it's the only place that the American army can keep troops on the Chinese border and the Russian border. They don't want to leave. I want them to leave. I don't like paying for it. I don't want to be sitting there. We would be targets if there's a war in Asia because we got all these troops in Korea. I want them out of there, so I don't pay for it, and we don't get dragged into a war. But I'm not a general.
Yeah, I think probably Trump wants him out too because he doesn't want to pay for it either. This is one of the things.
That's what he says. But those guys have a lot of power in Washington, whether we know it or not.
Right. Was it the military-industrial complex?
Yeah, one of the great generals of our history, Eisenhower, came up with that. Said, yes, there is a military-industrial complex, whether we like it or not.
Exactly. Now if you see the unification of Korea, where would you recommend investors get positioned now? I know that what you can't buy North. I guess you can't invest in North Korea, but what are some of the names that you would be looking at to get positioned for this opportunity?
Well, first of all, unification doesn't have to happen. What I expect to happen is the border will open, the 38th parallel will be open, and then you'll have free commerce and movement of people and money. But who knows? It may be unification almost instantly. But the opening the border is the important thing. Once that happens, who knows what will happen? Now, Jack, it's illegal for you and me to invest in North Korea right now. So don't go rushing out to invest in North Korea because it's illegal. We live in the land of the free. We're not so free, as you know. But once it opens, There are going to be all sorts of opportunities. Travel, I just mentioned travel before, because Korea, when people think of going traveling, they don't think of Korea. They think of Asia,
Right.
traveling in Asia. Nobody thinks of Korea for many historic reasons, but that's going to change now, because all the wackos like me are going to want to go to North Korea, and other people will follow, and they have to go to South Korea too. So that's one great opportunity. Agriculture is going to be a great opportunity, because North Korea, they're still using scythe. You know what a scythe is? I mean, when I was there last, they were still cutting the grass with a handheld knife, a handheld.
That's from the Soviet flag. Yeah.
But anyway, agriculture is going to be a great opportunity.
Okay.
Tourism and agriculture are good places to start. Shipping, transit, because there are railroads up the East Coast and the West Coast. They've been out of work for 80 years, but they're rebuilding those railroads now. So it's going to become a transit hub. Once again, they can connect into the Trans-Siberian Railroad. They can hook into the One Belt, One Road, China's One Belt, One Road program. So there are many opportunities. But, Jack, really just about anything. They don't have anything in North Korea. Chairs, shirts, they don't have much of anything. So anything you know and anything you can do well, there's an opportunity. Go there and open a pizza chain. You'll get rich.
It's a little bit like the fall of the Berlin Wall when the Soviet Union opened up all the republics, the whole Eastern Bloc.
Yes, you're right, but it's a little different, because everybody around East Berlin was poor except West Germany, and they all wanted money too. The Poles were trying to get investors, the Czechs. In this case, everybody around them has money, and everybody around them wants to invest there. And North Korea spends huge amounts of money on defense. South Korea spends huge amounts of money on defense. So suddenly you're going to have a big honeypot of money that they don't have to spend on defense anymore. So there's a lot of money to rebuild North Korea. And of course, everybody else, Samsung, all the rest of them, they already have task force studying what to do once it opens, so they can jump in and start investing.
And you're bullish on agriculture in general. You see opportunity in that sector.
Remember Wei Ji, agriculture is a disaster, has been for a long time. Average age of farmers in America is 58. In Japan, it's 66.
Wow.
Highest rate of suicide in the UK is in agriculture. Millions of Indian farmers commit. So, I mean, Jack, more people in America study public relations than study agriculture. It's a nightmare. So whenever there's a disaster, there's also an opportunity. Either we're going to stop wearing clothes and eating food, or it's going to turn around. And if you ask me, it's in the process of turning around now.
So what, where would you recommend, or I don't know if you recommend, but where would you get positioned for, to invest in agriculture right now? Like, do you have any specific names that you could share?
Well, yeah, I don't like naming things. People go out and buy them, and they don't do the homework, And if it goes up, they take credit. If it goes down, they blame me. But, I mean, tractors, fertilizers, seeds, buy a farm if you want to. If you like farming, go buy yourself a farm. You'll make an absolute fortune if you like being outdoors and getting dirty and hot. I'm not going to buy a farm, but it's a great opportunity. Index, you can buy there's the Rogers Agricultural Index, trades on the New York Stock Exchange. I own it. That's a way to play agricultural products if they're going to go up. There are many ways to play.
Okay. So let's kind of... what about gold? What's your take on gold? You're still bullish on gold?
I own gold. I didn't buy gold from 2010 to 2019 in any size. I mean, I've owned it for years. I haven't sold any, but I started buying again last summer, and I'm continuing to buy. If I weren't talking to you, I'd probably be buying some more gold.
Do you have an upside target on gold, or do you see more of it as like a hedge?
Well, first of all, everybody should own gold as an insurance policy, if nothing else. You have life insurance, you hope you never use it. You have fire insurance, you hope you never use it. Everybody should have gold in that way as well. Now, having said that, if you want to make money, there are also times, if you get the timing right, when you can make a lot of money in gold, not just as an insurance policy. in my view, we're near one of those times now. How high will it go? I have no idea, Jack. I know if I gave you a number, it would be absurd. We'd both look back and laugh at it someday. I know it's going to go higher than anybody expects because people are losing confidence in governments. People are losing confidence in money. And whenever that's happened, they've turned to gold and silver. Whether they should or not doesn't matter. I mean, politicians and academics will say, you're crazy. Don't bother with gold. Let them. I'm an old peasant. I'm going to buy gold and silver. Let all the smart guys tell me it's absurd.
Yeah, gold right now it's really there's tremendous like underinvestment in gold right now as a percentage of portfolios in the U.S. Almost nobody owns it.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see in 3 or 4 years. Certainly within 5 years, I would expect to see much, much, much higher prices of gold.
Right. Yeah, everybody. I guess. The kind of the younger generation is focused on Bitcoin. That's where the mania is right now.
Well, yes, I know that, but all those cryptocurrencies. Well, first of all, money is going to be on the computer. It's already turning. In China, you cannot use money anymore. You can't buy an ice cream. You can't take a taxi. You have to have your money on the phone. So money's already going on the internet around the world, and it will. It's going to be government money, though. It's not going to be your money or my money. Or crypto money. It's going to be government money, and the governments everywhere are figuring out how to do it. And if the cryptocurrencies do become successful, the governments are going to make it illegal. And the government said, the crypto guys say we're smarter than the government. They are, Jack. Everybody's smarter than the government, but the government has the guns.
I was about to say.
Government say it's against the law to use crypto. You're not going to. This happened 90 years ago. The Bank of England. It used to be you could use seashells or your own money, or banks could print money, gold coin. You could use anything for money. Then the Bank of England says that from now on, if you use anything except our money as money, it is an act of treason.
Wow, I didn't. That's interesting.
Treason means they execute you, so people stop using it, and that's going to happen to cryptos too if they become successful.
Interesting. Now, you mentioned Russia. You mentioned you invest in the shipping company. Where do you see the Russian market right now? Do you see any opportunity there?
Well, it's a great opportunity. It's hated. It's been hated for several years. Having said that, it was the strongest market in the world last year, up from a depressed base. I continue to buy shares in Russia. I'm a director of a couple of companies in Russia. There are plenty of opportunity. Russia doesn't have much debt. It's got a convertible currency, vast resources. Get out a map, you can see they have vast resources, underutilized because of the communists. There are many opportunities there. I hope. That's why I'm buying.
Exactly.
You can ask me 5 years.
So we've mentioned China, Russia, Korea. So we've got almost a complete axis of evil. So what about Iran? There's again, Iran is in the news because I think one of their top officials actually died of the coronavirus, and a couple of guys are infected. That people have been looking at that opportunity. Do you see anything happening in Iran as compared to Korea?
Well, first of all, Jack, it's illegal for Americans to invest there, but I'd love to. Oh, I would love to. I told you, we're citizens of the land of the free. We're not so free. I would love to invest in Iran. It's hated. My God, it's hated. But the good news is it has a very, very young population compared to most countries. Japan is dying and going to disappear. Many countries have a horrible age problem, demographic problem. Iran is mainly under 30. They're all young people, and that's usually a great opportunity. But so what? It's illegal for me to invest in Iran.
So also very well educated.
They're well educated. They have a long history. They've been a very cultured nation for centuries. No, but it's illegal. Right now, America hates them for some reason, so it's illegal for you and for any American to invest there. Okay. There are great opportunities, but not for us.
Jim, let's wrap up. What do you see as kind of the big theme for this year? We're already in March. Where do you see the big opportunities for this year, like in broad strokes?
Well,
Biggest risks.
what I see happening is that the central banks and governments around the world have panicked about this virus. Doesn't matter whether they're right or not, they've panicked. They are printing and spending lots of money now. So we're probably going to have a last blow off in the market. I guess that'll lead to a blow off. It could well lead to a blow off because there's so much money suddenly because of the panic. That will probably lead to a blow off or at least a higher market. If it is a blow off, blow offs are a lot of fun if you can deal with it. I'm not very good at blow offs because I know they're absurd. But if the blow off comes, stocks are going to go a lot higher, and then it'll be the end. A year or two from now, we'll all be looking back at the worst bear market in our lifetime.
Wow. Okay. But you're saying,
yeah, I mean, they sound crazy or something, but we had a problem in 2008 because of too much debt. Since 2008, debt everywhere has skyrocketed. Just stunning how much debt has gone up around the world in just 12 years. So when I say it's going to be the worst bear market, it's not a very strange statement if you ask me.
Okay, so you're still holding by that we're going to see I mean, you're saying worse bear market, worse than 2008, that level.
The debt's much, much, much higher than it was in 2008. Other things are worse too. Geopolitics are worse now. You just mentioned Iran. You mentioned Russia. We were friends with all those places in 2008. Now we're not friends with much of anybody anymore. Venezuela is a disaster. But even if we're friends with everybody, the debt everywhere has skyrocketed. The Federal Reserve's balance sheet alone is up by 4 or 5 times in 12 years. I mean, this could never happen in history, but it's happening. We're watching it happen.
Okay, so you're bullish on agriculture, bullish on gold. I guess
own gold, own silver. Yes, go out and buy some silver if you don't have any.
Okay, and you think there might be a possibility of one blow off top, new highs, possibly in equity markets as a result of government overreaction?
Yeah, I mean, I look at the newspaper or the internet or the TV. Every government in the world is panicking about this. They all read the same newspapers. They all read the same terrible forecast. So, yeah, they're all panicking.
Exactly. Jim, I want to thank you again for joining us, and we hope to have you back soon.
Thank you, Jack. My pleasure. Be careful. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jim.